Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's second session. Today, in our session, we will have three interesting presentations, which I would like to read the title of the presentations first. Our first presentation is titled Outbound Tourism Demand in Central Asia, a Gravity Model Applied Approach, which will be presented by Kushen Ibrahimov. And the second is a conceptual assessment of current trends in restaurant industry, accompanied with future forecasts. This presentation will be presented by Ülker Can. And then lastly, we will have the perceived qualification evaluation for gastronomy students. And this will be presented by Patita Paban Mohanty. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Who would like to start firstly in our session by presenting their topic? Jorge Marquez and Kushen Ibrahimov.
Yes.
Yes, now we can see and hear you. If you are ready, you can just start by presenting, by introducing with you, please,
All right.
with few words, okay?
Okay.
Before going into more details with your presentation.
All right. So, it's just for confirmation, the screen is shared, right?
Yes, we can see clearly now your screen.
Okay, here we go. Okay. I'm Kushen Ibrahimov. I'm a PhD student at the University of Alicante in Spain. And first of all, thank you very much for organization for inviting me to this conference to have an opportunity to present my research paper. In today's Congress, I will be present about the outbound tourism demand in Central Asia, a graded model applied approach. This paper have been conducted together with the Professor Jorge Marquez from the University of Portucalense in Portugal. And so let's get started. So about the Central Asia, first of all, I'd like to take your attention about where it's located, because most of the people is quite from Europe. They don't know where is that exactly Central Asia. So Central Asia is the country of 5 extant countries. It's like Kazakhstan, as we can see in the map, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and finally we have Turkmenistan. And these countries are located in the route of Great Silk Road, where tourism is really boosting in this route. And when we're talking about the outbound tourism in Central Asia, as we can see in this graph, the number of outbound travelers have been increased the last years. As we can see in 2018, it reached a peak over 25 million tourists travel abroad from Central Asia. And in 2019, before pandemic, it have faced a bit slump. As we can see here, slowly slump and reach less than 25 million travelers that travel abroad. In this table, the contributions of tourism in these countries have been shown. So as we can see here, the contributions of travel and tourism to the GDP, to the whole economy in that country. For example, Kazakhstan have a share of 5.2% in total economy, and the Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and the Turkmenistan is not included in this table due to unavailable data. And the tourism really contributes to the job creations. It creates a lot of jobs in these countries, in this hospitality and services, and it also contributes to the economy by inflow of foreign currencies. So this table simply shows that how tourism really matters in the economy of these countries of Central Asia. So while we're talking about the objective of the current study is to analyze the outbound tourism demand of Central Asia, traveling to 76 destinations over 21 years period from 1995 to 2015 using static panel data. I mean, I have used gravity model in this case. And we have developed three-dimensional panel data, including origin, destinations, and year, in order to capture the relevant factors that impact on the flows of tourists traveling abroad. So while we're talking about the research gap, and the gaps that motivate us to do this study is there has been no detailed investigations of economic and non-economic factors that on outbound tourism demand in the case of Central Asia. So this is the big motivation that we conduct this study. And the main contributions that it bring up is it's normally in the literature, and it's gonna have some practical implications for development of the region. In the case of the literature review, I've reviewed a lot of papers before proceeding this paper, and we have found that the many papers have been done previously is related to the inbound tourism or qualitative based studies. I mean, survey based studies. Most of the papers have analyzed the Turkish tourists traveling to the destination to Central Asia. For example, Kantar 2007 have they captured the tourists traveling to Central Asia from Turkey. They have conducted a survey of participated over 400 peoples, and they have captured that their perceptions about the tourism in Central Asia. And based on regarding the quantitative analysis in the cross country case, example, some of the countries, for example, we have seen the researchers like Kralbayev 2017 have investigated inbound tourism demand in Kazakhstan. But we have also recently analyzed the inbound tourism demand in Central Asia. It was 2019, we have published this paper. And now we are focusing on outbound tourism, okay? So about the data methodology that I have used, the gravity model is employed to investigate outbound tourism flows. So it can be expressed as these equations. We have a dependent variables and we have some independent variables. So where we have ln, it represents natural logarithm. It is used in order to reduce heterogeneity in the data. And we have subindex I and G representing country of origin and destination in the period of T, 1995-2015, okay? And beta 0, beta 10 is a coefficient, coefficient to be estimated in the estimator model. And we have also included well-behaved disturbance term in order to capture some unexpected error terms. And also we have included fixed effect of origin and destination in terms of the years in order to capture the characteristics of each variables that can be changed over the time. So as a technique, we have applied least squares dummy variable, you can see here, in order to estimate the gravity model. And about the data that in this table shows what type of data and where we take from is shown here. So as a dependent variable, we took the number of tourists traveling abroad from Central Asia to 76 countries of destination over this period of time. These data have been obtained by World Tourism Organization. And we also take the country economic mass, the GDP per capita, the origin destination. It's used as a proxy of income of tourists. And we also took the distance between countries of origin and destination as a proxy of travel cost. And we also measured the relative price of goods and services. And we took some control variables in order to see how the model works well. So we took the visa restrictions between countries. We have the language proximity between two areas, and we have also border the variables signifies that they're sharing a common border between countries. And we took the number of heritage sites in Central Asia in order to see if the tourists traveling there, they really can be attracted by some of the heritage sites or not. And of course, we have also concern about safety and security about the region. So we took the political stability in the country of origin and destination. So these variables are obtained based on the source, as we can see here, many sources. So while we're talking about the results, before proceeding the data analysis, I have done some diagnostic tests in order to see the data is estimated consistently. So we have the first we took that the Fisher type panel unit test. We have conducted this analysis in order to see all the series are stationary and skip having the unit root in the data. And the second, we check that if the database has any multi-cardinality issues in the data. So we test that this width technique, and we have 2.552. So it means that it's five, the less over the 5. So it means that the data all included in the estimated mole out of the multi-cardinality problems. Okay, so the data this test shows that the data is consistent in order to process the estimation. Here we have table of results. So I have results here depicted, and we have here the variables that I explained in previous slides. So what we're doing here, so the GDP per capita in the origin and GDP per capita in the destination as a proxy of income. And two, these variables are significant and have a positive relationships. It is significant at 5% level. One is 1%, another one 5% level, which is statistically significant and have a positive impact on urban tourism demand. So what does really means that if the country of origin traveling, I mean Central Asia, the income increased by 1%, the number of tourists traveling abroad will be increased by 4% in this region. And while talking about the income in the country of destination, it shows that how the country is prospering economically in order to receive a lot of tourists. So it's highly positively related, which means that matter for these economic situations of the country really matters for attracting tourists from Central Asia. And we have here distance between countries. It is a proxy of travel cost, which is negatively related and statistically significant at 5% level, showing that if the transport cost between countries of Central Asia and destination it increased by 1%, the number of travelers abroad from Central Asia going to decrease by 1.4%. So it really means that the higher distance between countries, the less tourism. So because if the transport costs increase, it takes time. It takes a lot of effort to pay for the flights, for the another mode of the transport. So this the reason why is negatively related. While we're talking about the price, relative price, it's interesting. It shows that the results is really close, really close to zero, which means that it's not highly vulnerable to the tourism demand. I mean, it's mean the higher price in the higher price of the tourism product in the destination is negatively related to the tourism demand, but the effect is not high because tourists traveling from Central Asia to abroad, they are looking for not luxury destinations. They are looking at the at the same level that they have the budget constraint. Okay, so the price is not so prominent variable in this case, but it shows the negative related but close to zero. While we're talking about the safety and security in the origin, the destination country, in the origin in Central Asia, the most of the tourists traveling abroad, they don't care about the situation, safety and security situation in the origin country. I'm sorry. the origin country, okay, in this case that I found. And while we're talking about the safety and security in destination, at least we can see it's positively related. So it means that if the destinations have present some peaceful and stable political environment and political situations is highly, the environment of the politics and political situations, crimes and terrorism is out of that, and they really attract of tourists from Central Asia. So tourists traveling from Central Asia, they are look for the destination where is safe and secure and and politically stable. So that's the reason it's positively related. And also we have the language similarity between countries. If two countries have a same language or similar language, the number of tourists traveling from Central Asia increased by 1.8%. And it shows that the most of tourists traveling abroad from Central Asia, they goes the countries where the language where it has a proximity of the language. The country that has the similar language. And the sharing a common border between countries, it also positively shows to the demand of outbound tourism. Why is so like that? And it means that tourists traveling from Central Asia to abroad, they go to the neighboring countries mostly. So while the country is close to each other, it creates a lot of mode of the transport to travel to this destination. So from one point of view, it decreased the transport cost, and then another point of view, it increased the amount of transport to travel to the destination. That's the reason why we have here positively relationship. And exactly we have seen the number of the number of World Heritage sites in the destination is positively related. And it means that if the destination has a huge capacity of heritage and cultural and natural heritage sites, it attracts a lot of tourists from Central Asia. And one of the more important, the variable that we have here, the visa restrictions between countries, which is considerably negatively related to the outbound tourism flows. So it means that if the countries have a visa restriction, it's going to decrease the number of tourist travelers from Central Asia. So the visa restrictions and transport costs are the most two variables that we have found that highly affect, highly impact on tourism demand, outbound tourism demand in Central Asia. While we're talking about the conclusions, I have some implications for policymakers in this region. So what I see that tourism policymakers in the destination countries should moderate transport costs, because most of the travelers from Central Asia, they're really concerned about the transport costs where to travel, okay? So the policymakers should moderate transport costs somehow, as it's possible. And another issue is that I found that the visa requirement for travel, because it caused an extreme drop in tourism demand by 2.9% overall. So the country should create some. The country should ease the visa regulations between country of Central Asia and receiving country. And destination country ensure high level of security for Central Asian tourists during their pre and post travel. And what I found lately that the level of freedom in terms of media and self-expression should be improved in Central Asia in order to receive high level of demand, high level of offer from other countries. So this is all I can conclude for these presentations. And I have also here some references. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm pleased to reply all of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your interesting presentation. Does anyone have the question to ask for the outbound tourism demand in Central Asia, and the gravity model applied approach, which has been presented by Kushen Ibrahimov. Does anyone have question? It seems no, but I have one question.
All right.
Did you mention in the last slide that the tourism demand can be encouraged to facilitate visa requirements? Do you know
Yes.
how can be achieved? Do you have any suggestion?
Okay. So
Maybe
good
we can
question.
say the electronic visa facilitation, because it costs a little bit cheaper than the normal visa facilitation, or one can say traditional visa facilitation, which is applied by many countries, including Turkey.
Yes. In my point of view, the most of the tourists traveling abroad are mostly neighboring countries, and most of them are that really require the visa issues in Central Asia. So what I'm thinking is the countries, they need to collaborate in these issues. They need to find out something new. In the case of the visa restriction, they need to ease the process in order to receive more tourists from these countries. But it's not only from the point of the tourism, but there I think some another issues about the safety, security, about the immigration, about many other issues. That this is the issue that it is highly make the situations more complicated. But from this point of view about the visa issues, more something as you said, maybe for 1 month visa issues, for example, electronic visa just for 1 month or 2 months, or for weekly, that how many days that tourists want to travel to abroad, and this is also good. I think it is a bit highly questions, and it is really need to work on that. The policymakers in this region, they need to find any solutions about this issue, I think.
Okay. Thank you so much again for your
Okay.
interesting presentation. Now I would like to pass our another presentation, which is entitled "A Conceptual Assessment of Current Trends in the Restaurants Industry, accompanied with Future Forecast," which will be presented by Ülker Can. Welcome our session.
Thank you, dear professor, dear lectures. Hi to everyone. Let me share my presentation.
I would like to remind that while you are opening your presentation on your computer,
is it okay, hocam? You see?
Yes, we can clearly see your screen now. And
okay.
You have in total 20 minutes, including question and answer session.
Okay, thank you. Again, dear professor, lectures, hi to everyone. I am Ülker Can from Batman University, Hasankeyf Vocational School. Let me start. Firstly, I would like to present you about contemporary trends in the restaurant industry. Restaurant business, which are one of the components of the tourism industry, attract attention with their emerging trends. For restaurant business, to know both themselves and their customers in the current period is very strategically important. And also in this century, to be aware of the dynamic of the current market is indisputable necessity. This study aims to evaluate trends and forecasts in the restaurant industry holistically, to contribute to the literature and to offer suggestions to the relevant stakeholders. Restaurants are making every effort to keep their doors open because the restaurant industry is becoming more competitive every new day. And so they need to require a strategic understanding. Current and future trends can be examined under 3 factors, and one of them is extraordinary situation, other technology, and last one, a sustainability phenomenon. Extraordinary situation include coronavirus pandemic. The outputs quoted in restaurant industry are defined under three comprehensive themes. One of them is expansion of takeout operation, other innovative practice, and last one corporate support. The restaurant industry began to benefit more from the power of digitalization, especially after the pandemic. Integrating different delivery options into the system is particularly important in terms of providing competitive advantage. With online ordering systems and mobile ordering applications, third-party order delivery services began to be used. The digitized world and sophisticated consumer demands have led to a new range of restaurant types, which aims to make it possible for the customers to eat whatever they want, where and when they want it. The digital process that is accelerated by the pandemic has brought the delivery on a restaurant, virtual restaurant, and ghost kitchen to the restaurant industry. Paket Mutfak, Poguç Kitchen is example from Turkey. Also, digitally created and designed QR menus that businesses rapidly adapted due to pandemic are among the new modern trends. A QR code menu is a digital menu that is accessible for diners and drinkers on their smartphone after scanning a QR code. Another factor, technology. Restaurant business need good food and good services to sustain their existence and be successful in the relevant market segment. Along with this unchanging trend, it sheds light on the issues that need to be focused on technology and data in the next 10 years. Like you see on the screen, in each dining stage for dining experience, application will be talked under some topics, but need to say something about the social media. Social media is becoming an increasingly important element for all business, for all brands, for all companies. And I want to share a sentence that I like most. Companies don't have to be good in social media, but they have to be good because of social media. And let's look at classification of technology. IoT, Internet of Things. The Internet of Things adds a totally different dimension to the smart kitchen in the restaurant industry. Current studies on smart kitchens aim to be able to control kitchens and kitchen applications by other close or remote connection to intervene unexpected situation in the kitchen and to improve comfort by adding various systems to the smart system. Sharing economy also is other important. This sharing economy is an economic exchange model built around sharing either personal research and access with the other through web platforms in return for a price. In food and beverage industry, the Oreca platform that aims to prevent wasting food can be shown as an example for sharing economy. Oreca is described as a marketplace where consumers can buy surplus product of restaurants, bakeries, cafes, and groceries at 50% or more discount. And artificial and robotics. With the advanced technology and in particular with machine learning and artificial intelligence, robots have become smarter than ever. Today, they have the potential to do many human tasks. Automation projects gained an unexpected momentum because during the pandemic, fingers were pointed at technologies that can reduce the contact between people and make workplaces safer. And financial technology, fintech. Although solutions such as credit or debit cards have lent a helping hand to fast service restaurants, the financial technologies introduce and integrate new payment methods into the service operation. Among the new payment methods are contactless payment cards, cardless shopping, and cloud-based payments. And augmented reality and 3D printers. With the help of high-quality augmented reality that is designed digitally, three-dimensional foods offer unique experience to the users. Recently, food and beverage business focused on offering their customers tailor-made services by using the technology. In this context, it's interesting that Fooding is the first company in the world to serve its customer 3D printed food. And last factor, sustainability phenomenon. The number of environment-friendly practices have been steadily rising over the last decade. Innovative restaurants are expected to grow faster since they lead the way in sustainable operation. Energy-efficient equipment, recycling programs, sustainable packaging, menus with sustainable resources, and designing environment-friendly restaurants are among the focal points of our day. And conclusion part. The restaurant industry which is one of the barriers of the complex and labor-intensive market in the service sector, is in struggle to survive with its current and future trends. In terms of keeping safe from rigor mortis in the relevant market, the attempts of business to adapt continuously changing and developing trends to their operation is an unmovable strategical must for business and customers. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your another interesting presentation that we have witnessed in our session. And I think very timely topic because of the increasing interest in robotics and artificial intelligence, something like that. We have nowadays witnessed the use of the technology in hospitality and restaurants and tourism sector as well. Does anyone have a question?
I have one question. My name is Dr. Pajit Pawan Mohanty. I am from India. And regarding this, pandemic and restaurant business, that is called the technological innovation. And I belong to this hospital industry last 20 years. Am I audible to all of you? Hello? 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 Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I just want to know. I would like to know how this artificial intelligence can be the future, indicator for the customer satisfaction. I mean, how you can measure the service quality along with this through this mechanized service.
Yes, this was the question for you.
I suggest my friends to watch Food Inc. Company from YouTube.
Yeah.
And about the artificial intelligence and 3D printing foods, you can see there.
Yeah. No, my question is, I think you know about the serve qual concept. It is a scale actually to measure the satisfaction of the customers coming to the hotels or restaurants. Okay. So if service quality is always measured through the persons who is, giving the personalized service, I mean the human being. So if in the pandemic time, all these things are happening through the contactless service. Okay, that is called touchless hospitality. So can you tell me how I can, how you can measure the service quality during this time?
Okay, understand. You want to hear my things about the system, contemporary trends in the restaurant industry, right?
Yes.
It's a good question. Thank you. Also, I just want to say something about this. Our industry, our sector is sensitive sector. So you need to see customers' eyes, and you need to feel our feelings. You need to share all our how can I say feelings. Okay, robotic system, a 3D point. These things just technology products, and according to me. In our industry, you can't give up people service, person service. Okay, as I said before, you have to be touch, you have to be feel, you have to be see, because this is sensitive. The machine technology can't service our profession.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have any other question for this interesting presentation? I think the silence says no any more questions. Thank you very much for your good presentation.
You're welcome, John. Thank you.
Now I am passing over another and the last presentation, which will be presented by Patita Paban Mohanty, whose presentation is titled as being Perceived Qualification Evaluation for Gastronomy Students.
Yes. Okay. Yes, sir.
If you are ready, you can just start. But before getting into details, your presentation.
Okay. Yes. No problem.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So you're welcome, sir. My name is Dr. Pajit Pawan Mohanty. I am from India. So I'm privileged and honored to have part of this international congress. And thank you all the dignitized, authors and panel members over here. And very much thanks to Dr. Yusuf Karakus, who has given me this opportunity, far up from this place to India to present this perceived overqualification evaluation for gastronomy students. Okay, I think my sound is clear and PPT is coming. Is it coming in the screen? Hello.
I cannot see any presentation there.
Okay, just a minute. Just hold on. Yeah, just a minute. I have shared actually. Sir, it is coming.
No, we cannot still see your presentation on screen.
Just a minute. Just hold on. Just give me 1 second.
Yes, could you please try again?
I think it's coming now. Is it fine, sir? Now it is coming.
Yes, it is
Yeah. The
progressing.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. Sorry for interruption. This is the title of this conference: Perceived Overqualification Evaluation for Gastronomy Students, prepared by these three authors. We are in the beginners of this conference. So starting with the introduction, as you know that each industry has their own characteristics, and tourism, travel, and hospitality industry have their own characteristics, which are unlikely to be successful in planning, strategy, and policy making activities.
Sorry,
So,
but
without taking,
sorry for being interrupted, but we cannot still see your presentation on the screen.
okay, I think just a minute. I shared it. I shared the screen. Select window on screen, entire screen. Allow
Mr. Patita Mahonte, can you hear me? Mr. Mahonte, can you hear me?
Now we can see you on the screen.
Okay. Some internet problem actually.
Yes.
Still,
Now
I'm
it is,
managing to all these
it seems
things.
clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just hold. Just give me some time. Just I'm
Okay.
just
That doesn't
allowing you
matter.
for the last
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah. Please. I don't know exactly what is happening. Now it's coming, sir. The screen is coming. The
No, but
screen.
I think it is. Yes. Now it is
Yeah.
clear that we can
Okay.
see your screen. I think you can start
Okay.
your
Okay,
presentation.
so as the industries is very vast, the hospitality, tourism, and travel industry. So it has also their own characteristics and features. So from this point of view, it is important to examine these industries in terms of their characteristics and features. So therefore, employees need to perform superiorly in order to create satisfactory process for everyone. So what I mean to say that employees need to be work in a very hard manner so that everything can be satisfied in a good manner. So the subject of this study is the examination of the perceived concept of overqualification, which is an obstacle to the superior performance of the employees. Then moving to the next slide, the research purpose is, at this point, it is important to examine the concept of perceived overqualification, which is an obstacle to the emergence of these competencies of the employees. In this study, it is aimed to produce solutions to manage the perception of overqualification, which may arise by examining the perceived overqualification levels of the gastronomy students. We have taken the gastronomy students in this study. When the literature is examined, the fact that no other studies approaching this kind of subject in this way we have not found we have found indicates the originality of the study. Again, filling this gap in the literature is another aim of this study. Then moving to the next slide, the method of the study, study methodology is, in this current study, the relationship between the demographic characteristics of the students studying the gastronomy and culinary arts in the department where the perceived overqualification variable can be discussed. The perceived overqualification scale developed by the Maynard Josephs in 2006 will be used to measure the perceived overqualification concepts discussed in this research. Then continuing with this method of study, the sampling process is convenient sampling, which you all know that it's very non-random sampling methods can be used for sampling of this study. In this type of sampling, researchers choose the most appropriate way of collecting the data from the subjects in order to reach the required population. The reason for using this sampling method in this research is to reach all the students of the Department of Gastronomy and Culinary Arts and to provide a sample size that will be healthy, that can be a healthy population. Then next, moving to this other slide of this methodology of the study. In addition, since the study was carried out between August 1st to the 31st August, when the schools are normally closed, an online questionnaire can be developed to the students and it has been passed to the students because there was no possibility of face-to-face contact, as you all know that. And participation of the online survey is a little bit lower than the face-to-face survey. For this reason, data were collected from all the gastronomy and culinary arts department students that we are able to deliver via online survey. The ability of this sample group obtained in this way to represent the population at the lower levels. Therefore, the data obtained as a result of the research cannot be generalized for the whole of population.
Sorry, Pasita.
Then, yes, sir.
I am sorry. Could you please move your slide because now we can only see the page 2. As far as I understand that you are now on the methodology section.
I am in the methodology section or the part. I think maybe some internet discontinuation. I think so. I am ahead of it, ahead of these PPTs, but you are lacking behind of these PPTs. Let me try. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Then I think okay. Then I will go to the next slide. The population of the research consists of the students of the Department of Gastronomy and Culinary Arts which are within the faculties and higher school of state universities in Turkey. According to this formula, the sample size was determined 384. The collected data is sufficient for the t-test and ANOVA analysis to be performed in this study. The result, I'm just explaining the table 1, that is kurtosis and skewness values. The table 1 explains that the highest skewness value observed in the scale data is 0.514, and the lowest skewness value is observed as minus 0.021. When this kurtosis value are examined, the highest value is minus 1.100 and the lowest value is minus 1.339. These values are within the threshold values given above. For this reason, parametric test will be used in the later stage of the research. The next is the table 2, that is the result of the first order multi-factor confirmatory factor analysis which has been carried out in this research process. That is, according to this analysis, it can be said that reliability is achieved because the values for the reliability of the composite structure recommended by the Horner and Larker is exceed 0.70. At the same time, it can be said that the convergent validity of the scale expression is ensured because the standardized factor loads exceed 0.50. In this study, the standard factor load is 0.60 recommended were expected. Therefore, the statements under this mentioned values are excluded from the analysis. Then moving to the next analysis, in order to determine whether there is a difference between the gender of the students studying in the field of gastronomy and culinary arts, the status of the working in a job related to their profession, and the status of receiving an education related to the profession, the t-test was conducted to determine whether there is a difference against perceived overqualification. Then the suggestions and findings. The findings of the study are examined. It is seen that there is no differentiation in the perception of overqualification according to gender and previous education. However, it has been determined that the fact students have worked in the food and beverage sector before caused a differentiation with the perception of overqualification. At this point, the fact that they have more knowledge and skills than their other classmates based on the experience may be effective in the higher perception of overqualification. This may also be based on the perception that experience may be more important than education. Regardless of the reason, students' perception of themselves as overqualified is a negative motivation for their future performance. In general, we see that the perception of overqualification is slightly lower among the students as their age increases. In this sense, the aging of the people and therefore the increase in the level of knowledge and skills can be contributed to their ability to look at the world more realistically. Considering the scores obtained in the university entrance exam, a differentiation is observed in the perception of overqualification. At this point, it can be concluded that the students who enrolled in the university with the highest score perceived themselves as more overqualified than other friends. One of the most striking findings of the study is that if students with GPA levels are low, they may perceive themselves as more overqualified. Some students may feel that the professional experience is more important than the education. For this reason, they may perceive themselves as overqualified and not show the necessary importance to educational activities. Then conclusion is the tourism industry is very labor intensive, so employee competencies are at the core of product success. Gastronomic values are very important in terms of tourism product, so those working in this field should be successful at an optimum level. Next is perceived overqualification is a negative factor in terms of employee competencies. Therefore, perceived overqualification is a situation that needs to be managed. It is very important to determine the perceived overqualification tendencies of individuals who will work in the field of gastronomy in order to take proactive measures. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Does anyone have
Welcome,
questions?
sir.
Does anyone have any question to direct Fatih Baban Mohanty for his presentation. Now it seems there is no question to direct to Fatih Monti for the presentation. Okay, then I would like to thank to all our presenters. Today we had 3 interesting topics which were greatly presented by our guest academicians or researchers. And then I'm going to finish our session.
Thank you, hocam.
Thank you once again for your kind contribution and interesting topics as well.
You are welcome. You are welcome, hocam.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.